Narendra Modi's international isolation slowly getting over? Well, the UK Foreign Office has made a major announcement saying that they want to increase their engagement with Gujarat. Well, the British Foreign Minister has asked the UK High Commissioner to India to visit Gujarat and meet Modi as well as senior functionaries there. This, says the Foreign Office, will allow the UK to discuss a wide range of issues of mutual interest and to explore the opportunities for closer cooperation with Gujarat. But at the same time, the Foreign Office also said that they want to ensure justice for the families of the British nationals who were killed in 2002. Well, a press release by the Foreign Office says that they want to support human rights and good governance in Gujarat and to provide best possible support for British nationals who live in, work in or want to visit Gujarat. Well, at the beginning of this year, human rights groups in UK had demanded that Modi be denied a visa to the country for alleged human rights violations in Gujarat in 2002. In fact, the UK Foreign Office announcement is all the more significant because they have resisted the boycott Modi calls to in fact increase their engagement with him. In 2003, there were widespread protests as well when he was allowed to visit Britain. Subsequently, a visit in 2005 was called off at the last minute after a determined bid by the rights groups to get an arrest warrant against Modi. Well, Modi was jubilant on hearing this announcement, understandably. On Twitter, he said, "Der aaye durust aaye. I welcome UK government step for active engagement and strengthening relations with Gujarat. God is great." Joining us with the very latest is our associate editor Atish Srivastava. Also joining us is our deputy editor Kartikeya Sharma. Atish, if I could come to you first. So, a big feather in Modi's cap. This does give a boost to his prime ministerial ambitions as well, this international acceptance of sorts.
Well, Meena, this international acceptance has come as a big boost for Narendra Modi. Now he can clearly say that he stands vindicated. There's nothing wrong in Gujarat. He is being accepted by Indians. Now he's been accepted by international countries like UK as well. And United Kingdom clearly said that you should go ahead and have trade cooperation with Gujarat. That means that he has been saying that whatever has been happening in the state is a campaign which has been going on by his political opponent. They're just trying to malign the image. There's nothing wrong when in Gujarat. There's been no case against Narendra Modi. He has not been convicted in a single case. So this particular event which has happened, the United Kingdom has clearly said that we should have more cooperation, has asked the High Commissioner in India to go and visit Gujarat and talk more about the cooperation we can extend to Gujarat. That is going to help a lot, especially the timing of this entire move is something which Modi would have really liked to have, because now he is desperate to have an image make. There are going to be elections in Gujarat. Now he very well realizes that after Gujarat election, the next step is movement towards Delhi. So all that route becomes easier for him if he gets more and more acceptance.
Well, Atish, do stay on with us, Kartikeya as well. Let's quickly listen in to what Nirmala Sitharaman, the spokesperson of BJP, had to say to Headlines Today a short while back.
Well, I'm not sure I would even call there was as though there was a period of international isolation. It was as a result of a vested interest group which was trying to malign the image of the chief minister, who is a democratically elected person. Leave that as it may. But the fact is, Gujarat growth story, the development story, the good governance is now receiving recognition from the United Kingdom, which is only appropriate for a state which has shown consistent development and growth and absolute peace and harmony in the last 10 years.
But ma'am, in the past two visits when Mr. Modi has tried to go to the UK, there has been massive protests against it. There have been calls of boycotting Modi, which is why the plans were cancelled at the last minute. Do you think something similar is going to happen, that even though the Foreign Office has said that, there might be outrage on the streets of the country?
Well, I think we are whipping up we meaning whoever is doing it, is whipping up emotions which do not exist. There is a certain sense of closure coming in Gujarat because convictions are happening on all those cases which have been to the court. And really, even with Supreme Court monitoring the whole thing, it is very clear that if any delay in some cases that may have happened, it was because of a certain stay order I'm not getting to the right or wrong of it. It's certainly the stay order was lifted and subsequently the cases got cleared and convictions are happening. And therefore, to build up an imagery that, there could be riots in the street or this or that, I think we should not inadvertently bring in a mood which is untrue of what is prevailing in Gujarat. Today, not just today, last 10 years, there has been complete peaceful Gujarat, and in Gujarat's history, never ever has there been a long period of without violence, without curfew, without riots, as it has prevailed from 2002 till today. I think all of us will have to understand the impact of the development story, the growth story which is going on there, and what has happened today with the press release from the UK High Commission is a due recognition of the growth which is happening in Gujarat.
Ma'am, also there, well, joining us also is Kartikeya Sharma, our deputy editor. Well, Kartikeya, how is the Congress really viewing this entire development? Are they now going to be viewing Modi as a national figure with international acceptance from here on?
There are two dimensions to it, Meghna. The one is that it's to the great consternation of the Congress party that Modi has been seen the first light of acceptance, if I have to use the word in terms of internationally. But I would say that the strategy of the party is to not to give too much weight to it, not to let too much gravity get attached to this one solo development, because ultimately he was the chief minister a decade back who did not get a visa to visit the United States of America. And then there was a huge hue and cry, and the Congress tried to make an electoral plank out of it. But in case of Narendra Modi, anything which becomes emotional doesn't work, and it benefits him. So this time around, they would rather ignore it rather than acknowledge it. And I would say because Modi continues to be very, very strong. You see, you don't have an alternative to Modi in Gujarat in terms of the Congress party. That is why Modi attacks Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. You don't find leaders from Gujarat Congress attacking Narendra Modi. Even if they do, their media presence is minimal, because you actually do not have state leaders who have stature, as Congress had previously, like YSR Reddy of Andhra Pradesh, a true regional leader with a great national stature. Probably the only, I would say, a regional leader like that remains is the Chief Minister of Assam, Mr. Tarun Gogoi, who has a national imprint. So I would say the Congress would rather not acknowledge it, but would prefer to ignore it, Meghna.
Well, Avdesh, if I could come back to you, do you think that Modi is now going to be hoping that this rather international acceptance of his spreads to other countries as well, and perhaps the US?
Well, exactly, that is what Modi will be hopeful about. He is expecting that this cooperation which has been extended by UK will extend up to US as well, and apart from that, he wants his image in the national level to improve, because we know the kind of reactions we've got from JDU movement. It was decided that Narendra Modi may become the face of the party in 2014. So he needs a national acceptability along with the international acceptability. Now UK coming out in open and saying and supporting Narendra Modi. Now Narendra Modi can actually try and use this opportunity to build up an image which will be nationally accepted as well, because in 2014, one is for sure that regional parties will play a very important role, and if BJP has to come back to power, they will need support of these parties. Whether they will support Narendra Modi if he is chosen to be the Prime Minister candidate, all these things are important. So his image and his image internationally, nationally, his image as an administrator, his image as a good governance guy is something which is very, very important.
Of CPI, sir, what would you say? Do you think that with this acceptance by the UK Foreign Office, Modi is now perhaps going to get international acceptance? Well, Mr. Anjan, if you could hear me.
Yes, I'm hearing.
Go ahead,
Can you
sir.
hear me? Should I continue?
Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Yes, I think the British government and its foreign office, in a diplomatic stroke, has said that yes, the Modi government should honor the democratic rights as well as human rights, and they should assure, because in the 2002 criminal activities which has been sponsored by the Modi government by killing innocent people on the basis of religious hatred, has correctly said, and the British nationals will also become the victims in such a way. If a government like British government, they have to move according to the international diplomatic orders, and so they have expressed their destruction. At the same time, a good word has been also used that if the government of the Gujarat and the Chief Minister takes cognizance of the human rights, and if he acts in that direction, they will certainly be friendly with him or will certainly acknowledge this initiative of the government. There is nothing very high, and there should not be a matter of joy for Mr. Narendra Modi. In fact, it's a sort of indictment. But Mr. Narendra Modi doesn't understand the international diplomatic wording, and so he is thinking that the whole episode of the world has gone in his favor. That I feel pity about his international diplomatic understanding.
Well, sir, you might be saying it's not a reason to celebrate, but that's exactly what Modi as well as the whole of BJP has been doing. Let's listen in to what J. Narayan Vyas, the Gujarat government spokesperson, has to say about it. Sir, what would you say? We just heard Mr. Atul Anjan saying that this really isn't a reason to rejoice. This is more of an indictment for Modi, saying that there are these human rights violations which have happened. However, we decide to go ahead and still speak and resume relations with Gujarat, specifically with Modi.
Well, we welcome this development. United States and UK were two countries on the names of which the so-called secularists and NGOs are making misinformation campaigns. Even today they may not like it, but UK has in any unequivocal terms decided to welcome strengthening of economic, cultural and diplomatic ties with Gujarat, with the High Commissioner from Delhi visiting Gujarat very soon to meet the Honorable Chief Minister and take this process forward. This is a recognition to the tremendous development the state has achieved in last decade under the dynamic leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. And not only Gujarat has been recognized as a model of development in India, but also on a global scale. So I think this is a development which is welcome development on that count. Second, there is a very large number of Indian ethnic communities settled abroad in UK, USA mainly, and other countries who have deep emotional roots for Mr. Modi. And I think they would welcome this decision that these ties would be further strengthened to the mutual advantage.
But sir, at least would you acknowledge the fact that there was international isolation, and now are you hoping that this isolation of Narendra Modi as an international figure is now going to end? After all, even the US has not given him a visa.
Well, unfortunately, I am at a place where your voice is not clear to me and I will not be able to react. But I am sure this is beginning of a very good phase which recognizes Gujarat's development, and anybody who has Gujarat's interest at heart would wholeheartedly welcome it.
Well, Mr. Vyas, thank you for joining Headlines today. There you heard the BJP voice. Also, we are now joined by Mukul Sinha, human rights activist. Mr. Sinha, what would you make? Do you think this is something which was in a way inevitable, that issues of human rights, the violation of human rights in Gujarat in 2002, that perhaps is no longer an issue for the UK government?
Well, I am a little confused about this type of a statement, because ultimately we as a sovereign country, we will decide our own issues. I don't see why a foreign country should be actually saying that they want to interfere with our help. We should thank them and say, well, we are capable of taking care of our human rights issues.
Well, Mr. Sinha, thank you so much for joining Headlines today.